Back. You're in the C Space Studio here at CES 2024. I'm James Kotecki, joined by Shobana Radhakrishnan, Senior Director, Engineering, Google TV. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Very glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So Google TV, let's quickly kind of define what it is. People might be familiar with Google TV. People might be familiar with YouTube TV, which is of course a Google thing too. So can you just define Google TV for us to start?
Sure. Google TV is a personalized content forward OS platform that brings content from 10,000 and more apps and over 1,000 live TV channels, all in one place. So the people don't have to spend time going from app to app or searching for just to find something to watch. It also brings helpful services like Google Assistant, Google Search, Play Store, all in one place through seamless integration for the users.
And is it meant to show up on all devices? Is it primarily a living room home screen kind of a thing, or is it everywhere?
It can be any of your TV devices. Yeah, it's device agnostic.
And do you find that people experience it a lot? That living room experience, right, of sitting down and trying to figure out something to watch, is it really kind of it sounds like it's kind of getting towards solving that challenge?
It's absolutely a big deal. I mean, TV is first of all the biggest screen in your home where you're trying to sit back, relax, and just enjoy a great experience. And I have personally faced what I call the Friday evening moment, which is you come home after a long work week and you're just looking to kick up your feet on the sofa, find something to watch with your spouse or friends. And then you're spending almost 15-20 minutes just looking for something to watch.
Right.
I've actually done that personally. And we see that most people actually face this challenge. And so when you have a platform that brings content, extracts it from so many thousands of apps, and also the number of apps any given person has access to is only growing over time. So this makes it even more complex. So when the platform simplifies it for you, takes the frustration and friction out of your hands for the most part, and on top of that personalizes it to you, it's amazing. I now just go to the top screen of Google TV, click on one of the first few rows, and I'm ready to watch.
In my case, it would be serving me like bad reality TV on a Friday night. I think that's what I need to relax sometimes. But can you explain a little bit more about the consumer experience going into this? So you say it's aggregating other kind of channels and apps. If I go into Google TV, am I seeing those other apps? Do I see those other apps' brands? As I'm clumsily phrasing it here, you can probably explain it a lot better.
Sure thing. So as you turn on the screen, you see a bunch of different content directly. But we do show enough information right on the top. For example, you know which of your apps it's coming from. You can even, as you scroll over, you might see the rating. So there's enough information right there to take action. And there are some users who like the simple navigation sometimes of, I know which app this title already is on. And we do have an app store to make that easier too. So we're not adding barriers to any path. We're just making it much more natural for most paths.
And is the philosophy here that somebody really would have just this and they wouldn't have to get, they would, or actually let me say this, do I have to still subscribe to those other apps in order to get that content? Like, I don't know if Netflix is something that you integrate in there, but just to use that as an example, do I still have to subscribe to that and then I can get it within the Google TV system?
That's right. People subscribe to the apps completely independently. We don't assume that they go through the TV surface and subscribe. Like people may even go on a website and subscribe, but we are able to bring all the content irrespective of where you subscribe.
I see. So the experience is just better for me to see.
That's right.
So then philosophically, what are you thinking about consumers as we go into 2024 vis-a-vis their expectations around streaming? Obviously, we're talking here at C Space Studio about a lot of ad-supported streaming models, or the increasing rise of that as a potential tier for consumers to choose when it comes to streaming. People trying to figure out, it's not, obviously Google TV is one answer to this, but we have all these different streaming platforms that not only do I have to figure out how to watch something, maybe I'm kind of breaking the bank, kind of trying to subscribe to all these different things. So where do you see the consumer's mind at here at the beginning of the year?
I think as we discussed earlier, the number of apps a person has access to is only steadily growing over time. And we see a good mix of live TV news and sports being a big part of the engagement as well. And that's continued as a pattern. And from both consumers and advertisers' perspective, it's just there are a lot more options and the whole ecosystem feels so complex. What they really need from streaming platforms and services is something that can simplify this navigation for them. There are, as we discussed, 10,000 and more apps. and there's so many live TV channels and so many ways I could be spending my money getting value. So consumers are not sure if they're getting the best value for their money, and that's where the streaming platforms can simplify it for them through this personalized access. And I think we should see that streaming platforms will lean into personalization more and more because that's the most compelling value. And for both advertisers and consumers, actually, it's more of, am I getting the best value for what I'm putting into the system, and streaming platforms bridge that gap. I think another important pattern is we should see streaming platforms leaning more and more into AI, Gen AI, and software-driven innovation, because it's an important aspect to bring innovation in a timely fashion to the market to stay compelling. So I think we should anticipate that trend as well.
I want to talk about AI then on a couple of counts. I want to talk about Gen AI, but also personalization, as you mentioned. I mean, Google obviously, famously, is so known for personalizing search data and figuring out contextually what people are looking for in the moment. So one can only assume that you're applying all of that knowledge and skill right on the back end to kind of figure out what to recommend to people. And are you able to kind of push the envelope of AI there? And then on the Gen AI side, we can take this as a separate question if you want, but on the Gen AI side, what do you see the cutting edge as in terms of what people are able to use Gen AI to create new kinds of content?
Both are actually exciting things to talk about. And on AI, when years ago we first started thinking about Google TV, our core premise was that there's huge value in bringing personalization to users. And so we worked with Google search and research teams to see what we can do to solve this problem of huge barrier to entry to engage in content. And so we were able to pull together this personalized content rendering. And this, based on the reception, we think we were right on in building that into the Google TV from the get-go. And we're also constantly looking at quality of, for example, video and audio quality, and how we can even enrich that using AI by being aware of your consumption patterns, your device capabilities, and those things are key as well. It's not even just what's the mix of content we bring, but it's all the aspects of content consumption experience, playback, everything matters. And moving to the Gen AI, I think it's super exciting disruptive innovation, because I feel like everything we know about content generation, consumption, presentation is going to be tilted fundamentally upside down by Gen AI. And in Google TV, we've already leveraged Gen AI for operational efficiency and personalized content presentation already. So it's super exciting, I think.
So one might consider to use Gen AI. I mean, when you talk about content presentation, is that things like the way that something is titled or the screen grab of the image or things like that might be actually altered based on personally kind of who I am and what I might resonate with on the screen?
Those are some aspects that streaming platforms will consider, but it's even dynamically matching picture quality and audio quality to the capability that your device can provide, and how it can magically match it to the a person who's consuming. And we also see even simple things like when we show different rows of content, being able to even generate, why are we showing this content for you? Even that matters to the user, because this offering resonates to them as you understand me. You are actually trying to help me. And so Gen AI can be used in a variety of ways.
And then I suppose giving them an opportunity to say, okay, that was an okay assumption, but actually that's not correct in this particular moment, so maybe I can choose a row that's based on a different assumption or something else.
Yes, a lot of what Google TV does is based on both implicit and explicit signals from the users. Even the pre-Gen AI era, we allow them to give us a lot of input on what recommendations they prefer, and also upvote and downvote when we provide something. So we incorporate that into our models as well.
You mentioned that Gen AI is going to fundamentally change everything we know about how content is created and presented. Are there things you think won't change? Are there foundations, principles that you think, at Google, or maybe even just for you personally, that you're still going to be operating on, even in a world where content is totally different?
Absolutely. For us, our core value is delight. I think the day you stop delighting your people, whoever is consuming, all bets are off. So we're always looking for what are the best content trends, content consumption trends, and user need trends, so that we can best bring content to the eyeballs of the users. And we strongly believe that that's what serves our content partners, that's what serves our device partners the best as a streaming platform as well. So I think that core value can never be compromised. So for me, that is going to be never changed in millions of years, I think.
Speaking of this year, 2024, can you give us a sense of where you see the future right now by filling in the blank? The future of our industry at this moment is blank?
You know, I'd have to go with the word super exciting.
Okay, that's a hyphenated word, but I'll give it to you. I'll allow it.
Yes, I'll violate the rules just a little bit. So I've been in the media and entertainment industry for over 15 years now, across Netflix, Roku, and now Google. And I feel like every year I feel like it's a new beginning and there's so much innovation we could do. Like every year in these 15 years, this is how I have felt. And I think this trend is only going to continue because entertainment is a core part of our day-to-day lives now. Like we can't think about anything that's not video-based anymore. Yeah. And that's only changed. Like every year, if you think about it, it's only a huge uptick. And users are getting pickier and pickier about what they want to see, how much time they want to spend. Yeah. And that brings an amazing challenge for innovation. So by leaning into these disruptive technologies, I mean AI, ML, and also Gen AI, and really trying to cater to the lofty expectations of the users is so amazing. So I think we should expect a lot of innovation in this space.
Shobana Radhakrishnan, Google TV, thank you so much for joining us today here in the C Space Studio.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
And we always enjoy having your attention, and we thank you so much for watching us here in the C Space Studio. I'm James Kotecki. We are at CES 2024. So many great conversations with media, marketing, advertising, and branding leaders are just ahead. Stay with us.